There may be order in the house, and everybody please take their seats.
Would the House please come to order?
We will now start with the roll call. Afghanistan, Albania, Algeria, Angola, Argentina, Armenia, Australia, Austria, Bahamas, Bangladesh, Bahrain, Belarus, Belgium, Benin, Bhutan, Bolivia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Botswana, Brazil, Brunei Darussalam, Bulgaria, Burundi, Cambodia, Cameroon, Canada, Chad, Chile, China, Colombia, Comoros, Congo, Costa Rica, Cote d'Ivoire, Cuba, Croatia, Czech Republic, Denmark, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, Egypt, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Estonia, Eswatini, Ethiopia, Fiji, Finland, France, Gabon, Gambia, Georgia, Germany, Ghana, Greece, Guatemala, Haiti, Honduras, Iceland, India, Monaco, Indonesia, Iran, Iraq, Ireland, Israel, Italy, Jamaica, Japan, Jordan, Kazakhstan, Kenya, Lao People's DR, Latvia, Lebanon, Liberia, Lydia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Madagascar, Malawi, Mauritania, Mexico, Micronesia, Monaco, Montenegro, Netherlands, Pakistan, Panama, Paraguay, Peru, Qatar, Republic of Korea, Romania, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Senegal, South Africa, Spain, Sri Lanka, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Sudan, Sweden, Switzerland, Syria, Tanzania, Thailand, Timor-Leste, Togo, Turkey, Turkmenistan, Uganda, Ukraine, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, United States of America, Uruguay, Uzbekistan, Venezuela, Vietnam, Yemen, Zimbabwe, Greenpeace, Reporters Without Borders, World Trade Organization.
Continue with the chairs. They will now give you a short insight into their respective committees and perhaps which funny things happened throughout the week, the conference, and we'll get some more information. First of all, we would like to start with the first General Assembly, which was chaired by Chiara, Arik and Juliana. Please, we yield the floor to you.
Honorable Presidency, Secretary General, distinguished delegates, dear guests. We had the pleasure to chair the first committee of the General Assembly this year and are grateful that we could enjoy all the fruitful debates in our committee. It was great working together with young, open-minded people in order to solve the issue at hand.
The topic of our committee was the ethics and handling of drones and self-firing weapon systems. Thus, there was a lot of discussion about warfare and the question whether artificial intelligence should be allowed to decide about life and death. Furthermore, part of the debate was also about how much and in which ways humans should and can take responsibility for the actions of such weapon systems. In the end, we managed to pass 2 out of 3 resolutions, but since we had to merge 2 resolutions, this is a pretty remarkable outcome.
Yes. Fortunately, Ukraine and Russia stayed in the same room through the session and no one else left the conference due to protest. We had interesting resolutions that we were amended and discussed a lot, and except for some technical difficulties, everything ran smoothly. Our gossip box was filled with many compliments for other delegations, a few pieces of art, and of course a lot of gossip. We danced a lot and had entertaining karaoke sessions. The delegate of Ethiopia had to ride a bike since he arrived late by several hours, whereas another delegate had to write a poem due to losing the badge. We would like to thank all the delegates for participating in this conference. We hope you all had a wonderful time and will be back next year. And last but not least, we want to thank all the members of the Inner Circle, the Secretariat, and everyone that made this wonderful conference possible. We yield the floor back to the Presidency.
Thank you very much. Next, we yield the floor to the presidents of the Social, Cultural, and Humanitarian Committee, OLMUN and Mika.
We, the chairs of SOCOM, OLMUN and Mika, thank everybody for the awesome event. Thank you to our presidency. Thank you to our executive team. Thank you to the other chairs. Thank you for the Inner Circle. Thank you for our delegates, which created an awesome atmosphere. Thank you to our staff. And OLMUN and I really enjoyed the time of the OLMUN this week. We didn't expect it much after seeing the submissions before the committee sessions, but we were surprised by our delegates after hearing a lot of great opening speeches, as well as a very fruitful and disciplined debate.
Our topic this year in the SOCOM committee was the ethics of genetic engineering. On this topic, we managed to come up with 2 resolutions, one which was mainly submitted by, well, as he would refer to himself, the great nation of Jordan, which managed to pass with clear majority, and the other one, which was submitted by the delegate of UK. Unfortunately, this resolution wasn't as successful and didn't manage to pass. We also had a lot of fun time, including punishments, which had a lot of variety. They started from different ties to dancing to singing, and my personal favorite for the closing, the Turkish damatale. We also debated if Israel is real and if Israel isn't real, which was like the main topic of our committee. On a more personal note, I would like to thank everyone who actually organized this committee. Although I come from Turkey, I never once felt like I was out of place. They all tried to include me in everything they did. They also tried to speak English to the best extent of their capabilities. So we want to thank you all for organizing this awesome committee, and we yield the floor back to the presidency.
Thank you very much for your kind words, and thank you for the presentation of your committee. We shall now continue with the chairs of the United Nations Environment Program. This one has been chaired by Jana and Luis. We give the floor to you.
Honorable Presidency and delegates, thank you for the opportunity to represent UNEP at this year's conference.
We also take this opportunity to say thank you for giving us the chance to chair at OLMUN 2022.
On Wednesday, we had a bit of a rough start because after the opening statements, two groups had pretty much formed in our committee, one with only 10 delegates, the other with over 30. Therefore, we were a bit worried that we would have no flaming debates, but we were proven wrong. Even the first-time delegates represented their country's positions accurately, despite their own opinion on the matter. After the lobbying on Wednesday, we had 4 finished resolutions that we luckily managed to reduce to 3 in the approval panel afterwards. We were incredibly impressed with our delegates, especially during our venue change. Without complaint, all delegations just took their table at the end of the day and carried them down 3 floors through a very, very narrow staircase. Thank you for that.
Today and yesterday, we were able to discuss all 3 resolutions. We started with the resolution submitted by Fiji and were able to pass it before lunch yesterday. After lunch, we discussed the resolution submitted by Estonia and Namibia. The resolution also passed. We discussed the last resolution today, which unfortunately did not pass. In addition to exciting debates, we also had a lot of fun, as you can see in the photos. Punishments included writing love letters to each other or singing Barbie Girl. Finally, we would like to thank the staff for keeping the committee running and the IC for the organization. We yield the floor back to the presidency.
Thank you very much. Next, we're going to hear a speech by the presidents of the UN Women Committee. Anna and Christopher, you have the floor.
Dear Presidency, dear Honorable Chairs and Delegates, we are the chairs of the UN Women. I'm Anna and this is my co-chair Christopher. We are very happy and thankful to be here. As you can see from the presentation, we had a lot of fun in our committee, which even resulted in our very own memes. Christopher will explain and show them to you later. On the first day of our committee, we started with some opening speeches and policy statements to find common ground for our resolutions. After that, we listened to a very interesting and informative presentation by our guest speaker, Birgitte Hahn, from the organization Terre de Femme. On Thursday, we passed a great resolution by Denmark and started debating on a resolution submitted by China.
On Friday, we then, after a fulfilling night of partying and mingling among friends, continued working on an equally great resolution by China, for which we almost couldn't save ourselves from all the amendments that kept coming in. Although the time was always short, we still pulled through and were able to pass it also. All through the week, the debates were amazing. Thank you very much to our delegates for that. However, some of you had a little issue with keeping to parliamentary protocol. resulting in one simple question. Who? Of course, a lot of dancing had to be done because of this. Yes, we have had to ask ourselves that particular question so many times that we actually thought we might turn ourselves into owls, so it would be easier for us. Nonetheless, you can take from the pictures behind me great memes. The owls, I think, are all looking very fine, and our notorious eye list, with some delegates amassing up to 25 of them in a single day. All in all, we had a great deal of fun with simply the best committee a chair could hope for, and are looking forward to seeing each and every one of you again at the OLMUN 2023 conference. Thank you so very much to the Inner Circle, the Secretariat, the Presidency, and everybody of you, all the delegates. We yield the floor back to the Presidency.
Thank you ever so much. That sounded like you had a lot of fun in the committee sessions. And we'll follow that right up with the Human Rights Council, which has been chaired by Tom and Duro. Thank you very much. We yield the floor to you.
Honorable chairs, distinguished delegates, and lovely staff, or should I just say hi everyone? We are the Human Rights Council. I'm Duro, and here's Tom, my lovely co-chair. Our topic for this year's conference was improving the treatment of children and adolescents in crisis areas. For the last 2 days, we have met these wonderful delegates who have been so hardworking composing these fruitful resolutions and debates, and the most helpful staff who have assisted us throughout the week of OLMUN. I would like to thank everyone who has made this conference possible and made each moment enjoyable. Moving on with the achievements. Next slide, please. Yeah, okay. Moving on with the achievements, we have passed 2 resolutions that were main submitted by the delegate of Gabon and UK, and of course with the help of the other co-submitters. They were great. We had 2 resolutions and both of them had passed. We had almost 50 amendments, we must say, and yeah, maybe around like 200 liters of sweat in the committee since it was like so hot, and also the punishments, or should I say just justice, were so fun. And I can pass the mic to my co-chair.
Yeah, thank you. Also hi from me. So in the Human Rights Council, it was very important that we had an eye on everything that was going on. So even us chairs get notes like this. Human Rights Council has an eye on you, so keep an eye on your children and their treatment. But trust me, we didn't only keep an eye on children. Today we asked our delegates to describe this year's HRC in 3 words. We got things like soap, Smurfs, porous concrete. Like if you ever want to get bored, we had a discussion for 45 minutes about the effects on porous concrete. Just Google it and have a good afternoon. Colonizing, also fun, lovely, and hot. And I think that's just as important, we also have debate, controversial, educational, fruitful, and that one I really like, important. And what was important next to our achievements, yeah, we have a 3rd slide, we're special. But, so we got an email before that someone was very worried that the Human Rights Council should maybe not have punishments. That was very out of line, which is why in our committee, justice was served. We never saw any punishments, we just saw justice. But a part of justice, we had staff so dedicated that sometimes they drew lines of the relationships that they thought they were seeing being built up. We have a love-hate relationship between UK and India, who never really got over the fact that UK colonized India. I don't know why. We have love around Cuba, like Cameroon, Finland, Marshall Islands, everybody was ganging up on that. But there was a lot of fun, even Germany and Lithuania were involved. It was lovely. And really what we found out, and I think that's also one of the carry-away messages for us as chairs, Cuba apparently makes very, very good government-produced soap and toilet paper. So something to take home. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to the delegates and our staff, and we had a really lovely committee. And thank you.
Now for the presidents of the Arctic Council, our oldest and very well working team, Rasmus and Eunice, the floor is yours.
Honorable Secretariat, most distinguished delegates, dear guests. Eunice and I had the honor to chair the Arctic Council this year, and we had a beautiful small committee with a total of 14 delegates who still did a lot of work because they produced 3 resolutions, which took quite a while. But to stay calm and peaceful, we always started the day with our yoga routine, where all delegates also introduced their own yoga moves, which was quite funny. Yeah. Then on Thursday we had a guest speaker who provided us with first-hand experience from the island of Greenland, where she was working at a station for 8 months, so she could give us really good inside information on how the life in the Arctic is like. And that was quite interesting for the delegates and improved the work and the debate afterwards. So, otherwise than debating, we also had time for some singing and rap exercises, and especially a certain delegate named MC Power Pants, or the delegate of Germany, provided us with really good rap, and the delegate of Poland also with a lot of by heart known text of several national anthems, which was really impressive. And Jonas will take over right now.
So, in all, our debates were extremely fruitful. So fruitful, in fact, that we had a chronic shortage of bananas, caused mostly by the delegate of Germany, who in this picture became a little bit too comfortable and had to be reminded of his duties as a delegate. And yeah, that was our committee. This is our group photo we took in the Herbert Park, and we would again like to thank the Arctic Council for this year's committee session. You were all extremely good delegates, and it was a lot of fun to work with you. Thank you very much.
Honorable Presidency, fellow chairs, dear delegates. We, the Security Council, are known to do things a little different from the rest of you. This starts with the rules of procedure. For example, we have veto rights. Right, Russia?
The veto right, for all of you who don't know, is the right of the P5 members to veto any amendment or clause, even if the rest of the committee is unanimously in favor. This power should not be abused. Right, Russia?
So this was made after Russia decided for the first time to not veto an amendment he was not actively in favor of. This was today in the last hour of the debate, so thank you a lot. It was very much fun. And another way we do things differently is with punishment. Most of you decided to dance, and this is the result of our punishment.
Instead of singing or dancing, we tried to shed some light on how cats created bicycle brakes or the true evils of an unnamed car company. We all agreed that Gabon is a cult leader in the making.
But now for the main reason why you're listening to us, the crisis countdown. We will start at 9 a.m. We are starting at 9 a.m. on Thursday. We begin. It's the only time I'm ever punctual to the committee sessions. On 9:15 a.m., the first veto is exercised We settled in for a long day.
At 10:30, after 1.5 hours of just running in circles, the council finally agrees to fail the very first clause we debated on, due to the word conditions. At that point, we invite everybody to use the bathroom, go grab a snack. Everybody huddles in one corner and nobody does anything. At 10:57 a.m., Kenya insists they have to go to their school to get a signature, and then they leave.
3 minutes later, at 11 a.m., crisis alert. We get evacuated. Hendrik runs into the room. Everybody's really having to pee at this point because nobody went half an hour ago, and everybody runs after him. It is complete chaos. There's this tense silence hanging in the air as we walk into or get into the cars, and it is weighing us down. We can all tell it is a serious and tense situation. Well, actually, that was only the case in car 4. All of the other cars were not instructed to not talk, so we continued to talk, take selfies, and generally just have a great time. At 11:15, we arrive at the German barracks. Everyone is distracted by their full bladders. We tell them there's a time-sensitive crisis resolution that we have a deadline on. We get started after everybody manages to get to the toilet 15 minutes later.
Then, at 11:38, Kenya calls. He has returned to the committee session in the highly dangerous room we just evacuated. Then, at 13:40, we have 5 minutes to the deadline. Tensions are rising, just like the temperature inside the barracks, because it was really hot and we only got water after like an hour. So we attempted to keep the calm by motioning for an unmoderated caucus. We allowed it. 1 minute, that's enough to pee, right?
So at 13:44, we have 1 minute until the deadline expires, and the terrorist group has said that they are going to start executing hostages. So obviously a motion to extend debating time is made instead of simply handing in the resolution. This time we do not allow it. We send it in and we try to save a few hostages in the process. And 15 minutes later, we received a message that we solved the crisis. It is averted. We return to our room, which has been swept by the official MUN team, and we continue our debate. On the way back, the Russian delegation and the United States delegation decided to quickly talk with one another which clauses they could agree on. This resulted in us being able to pass 5 clauses in as many minutes. Please remember, in the first 2 hours of the day, we didn't pass a single clause.
But seriously now, we did it. We have a great resolution, 2 even, counting the crisis. We didn't agree on a genocide, we didn't establish a monarchy, and we did establish the People's United Security Service Yemen. Pussy is one of our key factors. Pussy is one of our key factors to bringing peace and stability in the region.
And now lastly, this is an accurate description of the 2 of us as chairs during the Security Council sessions. They told us at the very end that they were onto our whole good cop, bad cop thing, and we had to ask who is actually the good cop here because we honestly didn't know. So please, all the remaining delegates of the Security Council, as well as the organizers of the crisis, please stand up. This applause is much more for you than it is for us. We are just glad we could be a part of this. And we yield the floor back to the presidency, and this is for you guys.
Thank you very much, not only for chairing the Security Council, but also to Henrik Ebel, who managed to put together an incredibly exciting and interesting crisis. Thank you very much. And yeah, well, of course, thank you to all the chairs for this incredibly enjoyable insight in the committee sessions. We're extremely happy to see that our committees were fun and entertaining in their apparently a very unique way, and that the delegates had a good time. And of course, we would like to express our deepest gratitude to all those that have come forward for this year's OLMUN to Chair Committee. It definitely takes some time to properly prepare for this task, and we are very glad to see that all of them did their job so well and enabled the core experience of OLMUN, which is after all the committee sessions, to take place properly.
Next up, we got our Deputy Secretary General Anneli Koska, who was kind enough to prepare a speech for this final occasion. Anneli, we yield the floor to you.
Most Honorable Presidency and Secretary General, most distinguished delegates, MUN directors, the staff and guests. Looking back at this past week, we're overwhelmed of what has been possible to organize. In 7 different committees, you, the delegates, were able to discuss world politics with other people of your generation and to work towards solutions for a brighter future. With 350 delegates from 4 different countries, namely the Netherlands, Turkey, and the Czech Republic, you had an incredible opportunity in front of you. To our delight, it was possible to hold the 21st international session of the OLMUN conference, and this year entirely in person again. Of course, the COVID-19 pandemic hasn't gone without influencing all of us. We cannot compare ourselves to the point where we stood before the pandemic. Therefore, we might need to set new goals and work hard and persistent to achieve them. The conference started on Tuesday with the opening ceremony after a short introduction. We were extremely pleased to have so many interesting speeches given throughout the duration who officially opened our 21st conference. Oldenburg's Mayor Jürgen Krogmann, Susanne Menge, who is a politician in the German parliament, or David McAllister, member of the European Parliament. All of them addressed peace and conflict and the relation our society has to these concepts, and truly allowed us to gain a better understanding of how to approach the problems our world finds itself in its time. It was truly inspiring and a great first glimpse at what the OLMUN 2022 would be about. After the official opening ceremony, a number of international delegates were matched with their host families. We would like to express our deepest gratitude for all the families that helped throughout this progress, both the families that have been hosting students throughout many OLMUNs as well as those who have nearly joined our holding program. Later in the evening, our participants were able to meet again for a Arno barbecue in a more relaxed atmosphere at the Graf Anton Günther Schule. This committee session was lobbying. It was a great feeling for every delegate, chair, president, as well as staff to be together in person and follow the typical positions in the committee. During lobbying session, the delegates had to change to advocate for the country's position, where our president Per and his deputy Kian, as well as the chairs and presidents were assigned by very helpful MUN directors. A warm thank you to all the MUN directors who were a great support for us and the delegates during the OLMUN week. We closed the day with a great and sunny meet at the Domwiesen, where we played volleyball, listened to music and danced. It was the delegates started into committee session on Tuesday with a new motivation and gossip, some of them which you have already seen during the committee presentations. The Security Council experienced an eventful and exciting week. While being in committee session, they were interrupted by a threat concerning a hostage taking, as well as an active threat against 2 delegates. During the crisis, the committee venue Tuesday night. It was a strange feeling for everyone to be able to host a party in a club after the COVID-19 pandemic, but it was a great success. The typical OLMUN spirit could be felt everywhere. We hope everyone who attended evening entertainment enjoyed their time there. Earlier today, all of you passed your last resolution and with your committee session ended. Hopefully everyone is satisfied with the resolution of the committee and had a great experience. The last 4 days have shown all of us that with effort, constructive and proposeful debates, our generation will be able to come up with a great resolution to deal with urgent issues, and also proves once again that our generation will not be sitting back and is capable and willing to decide upon the future of our planet. Like this year's theme, you opened yourself to explore causes of conflicts and proposal for speech. Thank you for your motivation to become a part of this year's conference and for your effort and dedication throughout the week. Thank you. The OLMUN couldn't have taken place this way without you. We want to further thank the decided staff who were an essential part of the OLMUN conference. Moreover, this conference wouldn't be possible to realize without financial support. We are very grateful and would like to thank our sponsors and supporters. CW, TENO, Arbeitsgemeinschaft der Volksbanken und Raiffeisenbanken Weser-Ems, AGVR, Mercedes-Benz Mundalo, The Balsen Family, EWE Stiftung, Rotary Oldenburg-Ammerland, GSG, All Season Self Storage, Marius Eriksen Stiftung, Georg Panja, EWE, Stadt Oldenburg, Auswärtiges Amt, Copy Team, Oldenburg 1 TV und Radio, for recognizing the necessity and importance of political education for young people in political changing time. It is now more relevant than ever before. We hope that everyone who was a part of the OLMUN 2022 has taken away a memory of a very specific and unique conference. We would be very happy to welcome you all in 2023 for the 22nd International Session of OLMUN, which will take place from June 13th to June 16th in Oldenburg. As we watch the current state of our world, we can be sure that until OLMUN next year, there will be many new urgent conflicts, crises that rely on each and every one of us to make an effort toward finding causes of it and make a proposal for peace. Now I yield the floor back to the presidency.
Thank you ever so much for this recap of our week, Anneli. And with that, we have almost reached the end of OLMUN 2022. Before we dismiss all of you, however, 2 points remain on our agenda. First of all, we shall emphasize the important work of our inner circle one last time. I know it is common at the end of a big event like this one to thank everyone who was involved, but I cannot stress the incredible support we have received during the conference enough. Without the strong confidence I've had in the many students working with us throughout the week, everything would have been immensely stressful and, if I'm being completely honest, impossible. So please, I want to hear a huge applause for all the dedicated students that made this possible. Thank you. Let us all learn from the mistakes we've made throughout the preparation and work on restoring OLMUN to its former size. In 2019, we were proud to register a total of over 900 students, and with over 450 total participants this year, it is clear that the COVID-19 pandemic has reduced us by half. But we should not be discouraged by that, but instead let it give us the strength to work even harder and bring OLMUN back to where it came from. Let this be the start of something great. And if any of you share our common interest in organizing large-scale events like this, and you by any chance live in Oldenburg, please do not hesitate to apply for the Inner Circle as well, either on our website under application or by waiting for signs on our social media where we will promote the first Inner Circle meetings in a few months. Now, let us end this ceremony with the pre-prepared Inner Circle video, closing video, and I hereby ask all the Inner Circle members to please approach the stage and sit with us. Please come forward before we start the video.
And with that, we have now truly reached the end of this year's closing ceremony. Thank you to everyone here and have a good ride home. I hereby declare the 21st Oldenburg Model United Nations session for officially closed.